Welcome back, guys. I am here today at the barn because my plans for today's episode involve remaking this structure. What is this pig over here doing? You good? Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, I want to remake this structure, build it up, make it a bit bigger, have more room for certain things, expand some of my farms, have more things going on, and also improve my storage system at Nezuko. Thank you for interrupting that. Come here. Anything you want to say to our viewers at home? Okay, thank you for purring. So, with that being said, I gotta gather up the resources I'm gonna need for this. We will also be diving into a new mod today, and it's the first time I'm actually gonna be building with this mod, so stay tuned for that. First off, thank you for watching, and let's continue on with today's episode. One of the resources I need to gather up today is red dye, and luckily, close in and around our farm, I can see a lot of these red poppies, and I might pick up some other flowers too, just while I'm at it. I was able to get a sack and a half of poppies and an assortment of other flowers. So, good start. The next thing I need to gather up a large amount of is some sort of block that's white, and I think this chalk stone should suffice. This is located right now, I'm underneath the farm, like right here, right above is my farm plots, I'm pretty sure. The mountains around it, we have a good little streaks of chalk and some more down this way, so yeah, I'm just gonna mine up a good amount of this stuff. Since I want to eventually remodel this barn and redo it, I wanted to go ahead and get the animals into a different holding pen temporarily, just so they won't be in the way during construction. Alrighty, as you can see, I got all my animals into this nice large pen behind me. Still on the barn, just a bit further down this way. I did double the size of the pen because I underestimated how many animals I have. And yeah, they have plenty of different foods, which I'll go in and stock up. They have a pond over there, which is always going to be renewable water. They have the salt licks scattered about. There's one over there, a few in the back. The pigs have mud. And I've lit up the whole area. They're nice and safe. They got their food. I'm hoping that they'll be nice and happy. A little side effect of them being very open range now is I'm seeing a lot of babies. A lot have decided to go ahead and breed. I never triggered that. I did see a baby pig somewhere. A little darn, look, that one I think is that's a baby right there. Look, that little piggy. Gotta look at his eyes. His eyes are massive. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah. That's adorable. So, I have to alter my plan just slightly. It turns out that the mod I wanted to work with, I won't be able to get to today because it requires more progression in the mod pack than I expected. So instead, what I'm going to do is build the inner part of the barn first before the exterior. The mod I was going to use to build the barn was the little tiles mod, a mod I've never messed with, but I wanted to try for this barn. And I thought I could because it seemed like most of the tools was okay, the saw and the chisel itself, and those were the items I was using creative mode to play around and mess with it. And even the workbench and blueprints and everything, it all looked fine. What I didn't realize was that this bag, which is most likely the most important aspect of the mod, this is where you get all your building materials from, requires a hammer, which requires a cobalt pickaxe from Tinker's Construct. So yeah, we are nowhere close to that just yet. I haven't even unlocked Tinker's Construct to even begin with, let alone cobalt is found in the nether. So instead, I'm going to kind of build the inner parts of the barn and try and lay that out. And then later in the mod pack, when we get those items, we can create the exterior of the barn. But for now, what I'm going to do is chisel and bits. So let me tag that up there. And let's tag this up there. If you're hovering over an item in JI and you press A, it's going to tag the item in the top left corner. So you can go back to whenever you want. And then if you hover A over it again, it'll go away. The mod pack has given me a stone chisel as a reward already, but I'm going to go ahead and make an iron one as well. In order to make the chisel bit bag, which is going to store your bits, and I'll get more in detail with this mod later, just know that bits are essentially miniature building blocks. In order to make the bag, I need a single bit. It says stone, but I'm pretty sure it can be any kind of bit. So I'm going to grab this, use my stone chisel that the mod pack gave me for a quest. Put that at the center and surround it with wool. Yeah, any kind of bit will give you this. This is what your bit bag looks like. And now, if you hold Alt by default, you get a cool little menu for your chisel and bit chisel. I'm going to make it same material down here at the bottom. That means when I click, I'm going to mine everything in that block that is the same material. And as you can see, I have 64 little bits I can mess with, and the rest of it has gone into my chisel bag. Alright, back on the barn. This time, we are going to be tearing down the old building, more or less. I have right here my dimensions on a little notepad, and I'm going to need to make a 14 by 22 interior. So the first thing I need to do is count out how big this building was beforehand. Now around we can see I'm using these wooden planks to outline my interior of this. So the way this new barn is going to be set up, you kind of think about this holding pin being screwed over one, and then eventually I'm going to extend out this way a second portion of the barn. So it's going to be two different parts. This section is only going to be 1 story tall. This section I'm planning on making 2 stories tall. So all my animals and stuff on the first bottom floor, and on the second story I'm planning to put my storage. Moving my storage from the village into the upstairs part of this barn. It's time to use our chisel and bits. So this is going to be a wall, and I want to essentially make half slabs, but vertical half slabs, and I can do that using the chisel and bit mod. So in case you haven't used this mod before, all you need to get started is the bit bag that we made earlier. I showed you how to do that, and the chisel, whether it be a stone chisel or an iron one or whatnot. And I mentioned before, by default, if you press the Alt key, you hold it down, you get this radial menu that you can go around scrolling. So we have a single bit, a line, a plane, these other weird ones, different sizes of the cube, small, big, medium, large. For my purposes, I'm going to go to this one over here, which is grid snap 1/2 size cube. So this is a half size of a cube. If I put that one by itself, it might be easier to see. I can dig out a chunk of it right there. Now it kind of looks like stairs. And if I chisel more of it away, I'm going to get a slab. And that's what I want to do on these guys over here. So I'm going to start with breaking my chisel. That's why I made the iron ones. I'm going to chisel away and make myself a slab like that. Now if I wanted to, I could also chisel more and do this by hand, but there is something that could make my life a bit easier, and it's called a negative chisel design. And this is made like this. Negative means I'm going to take away chisels from the block. There's another one which is called the positive chisel design, which is made with lapis instead of redstone, and it adds chisel into the world. But now that I chiseled this block away, I can make a copy of it, kind of sort of as a recipe. And you can kind of see like through the blocks, there's kind of like a highlighted version in there. Might be a little hard to see because the oak isn't the greatest colors to look at, but if I click now, I'm going to negatively remove the empty space that should be there. So you see there should be empty space for this half. If I click, I'm going to go ahead and remove it like that. And I think this will slowly eat up some of my chisel, so I have to keep an eye on that. And that's how it's going to end up looking. And likewise, you could also, just like you can remove bits, you can also add them to the world. So as I take away bits, I can also place them down. I got about half of the inside part done, so I can start planning out what the attic is going to look like. Because I know down here I want them to have at least what they had before. So they had about 3.5 blocks of headspace down here. So I'll give them at least that much, if not maybe a little bit more, and I can see what I can do upstairs with the room I have. And yeah, so I'll check back in once I get the entire thing finished. I got the inner workings laid out. It probably looks horrible on YouTube compression because it's just one solid pattern repeated. But this isn't the finished product. This is just musical. I've been quiet for 30 minutes, and now you want to say something? As I was saying, it's a work in progress. Anything else you want to say? Yeah? What else? This is the attic area where I'm going to be arranging my storage. It'll be closer to everything else. Down here is going to be one of the main areas for the animals. I also plan on extending it more this way. So it kind of be like an uneven barn. It's like this is the main shape that you think of, like the big red barn, like that. It's gonna have like a side section though, like an add-on. So we'll have extra pens in this area. Hopefully, is my plan. So you can imagine it will go further out that way, and then whenever I need, I can go up into this attic area. Then we'll be able to have our storage. I even have already on me a bunch of the stuff that I'll be moving over now. So I'm just going to start essentially just laying down a bunch of chests and doing what I can. And now I have officially moved into the attic. I have a large assortment of chests. I was able to make a few extra of these copper chests, which are more than a single chest by themselves. Not quite as big as a double chest, but in terms of space efficiency, it's better. So yeah, good amount of chests. I still have a few that are empty for future use. Have most of my crafting tables here. And now I think we are good. We're set. We can start looking into other mods. One of the ones I want to go towards is Tinker's Construct. I need something from Tinker's Construct to get into Little Tiles so I can finish my build, and I want to go ahead and get that out of the way before anything else, so we're going to work our way towards that. It looks like we finished this already by chance. Looks like I don't need to continue this way. I need to go way back down here. Looks like I have to go all the way up like that. So let's see, ropes are components added, so let's do that. Plant fiber, handsaw, and okay, any kind of sapling. Okay, let's do that real quick. After the rope, it wanted me to make a handle, which I already did to make my iron chisel earlier. And by using the wooden grip, the rope, we get to make the wooden hook. There's a quest. It says it's some sort of like grapple hook, but I'm not sure how it works. Maybe there's a button I need for it later. And I'll go with the willow tree because I have not seen them yet. Now I want us to think about making sawdust, which we have done for other recipes, but it says that the Tinker Construct patterns are used. They're going to need a lot of sawdust, so let's get a bunch of this going. Alright, that's a stack and a half of sawdust. And then it wants to make compressed sawdust. Okay, which is just a 9x9. So let's fill this up. Got 11 of these. Now, last part is to start making the tool station, which will unlock Tinker's Construct and that whole thing. Okay, we're going to be using the big crafting table. And it's just, oh, that's how you make the blank pattern. So each sawdust, compressed sawdust, is going to be one pattern. So I should make quite a few of those before moving on. If I remember right, it was something along the lines of this. Yes. And there you go. That is how we unlocked Tinker Construct. Now we should be able to go down into ores, alloys, and smeltery tier 1. Alright, so let's start working towards getting the other parts. Alright. Part builder is crafted. Next up is the stencil table. Stencil table finished. There you go. Alright, it's time for Tinker's 101. I don't know if my viewers know mods well or not. If you are familiar with mods, let me know in the comments. If you're not, let me know you want me to continue kind of giving you quick guides and quick tutorials on how to do stuff. But this is how Tinker Construct works. Obviously, recipes have changed for this mod pack, but the mechanics seem to be the same. You saw me craft these up. You craft them up on your own. You have your tool station, which is where you construct your tools. As you can see, we have different types of tools compared to what vanilla has, like this right here. This matic is a combination of an axe and shovel. You have your regular broadsword and 2 different types of swords. A frying pan. This battle sign actually serves as a shield. And you make your own custom short bows and arrows. And this is also the tier 1 equivalent. There's an upgraded version as well called the Tool Forge, which unlocks even more weapons and tools for you to use. But regardless, you pick what you want to make. Let's say I want to make a pickaxe. You can see I have 3 slots. Those are 3 different parts that I need. Down here in this box where it says components, you can see in red it says a tool rod, a pickaxe head, and a binding. So with that in mind, we're going to go to our stencil table. Essentially, this stencil table lets you carve out a pattern for each part for you to craft later. So in order to make a pickaxe, I need my pickaxe head. I need a tool rod pattern. And I needed the binding. As you can see, the icons in this menu, in this GUI, match up with the patterns. And if you hover over your pattern, it'll tell you how much each one's going to cost. It's going to take 6 material, whether it be 6 ingots or maybe 6 planks of wood, whatever the material is, 6 of those to make that pickaxe head pattern. Then I'm going to take 1 for the tool rod and 1 for the binding. Once you have those, if you want, you can store them in this pattern chest. It looks like there's only 1 slot, but each time you put something, another slot unlocks. Or you can just keep them on you if you want, but the mod makes it much easier by allowing this chest in here. If this chest is connected, like right here, to your stencil table, you can also go ahead and make a pattern and go ahead and just drop it in there. And if this pattern chest is connected to what's known as a part builder, you also have a GUI on the side. Likewise, you could just have these in your inventory and enter into the part builder yourself. When it comes to the parts you make, you have your own freedom to do them however you like. The quest book, however, would like me to make these specific parts. So this is enough to make a pickaxe, an axe, and a shovel using flint for our headpieces and then just wood for the other parts. So let's go in here. We'll select tool rod and we'll pick any type of wood. It doesn't matter what variant of wood. And I'll go ahead and grab 3 tool rods. I'll swap that out for the binding. I'll grab 3 of those. I'll put a pickaxe in now. Now this, the book wants me to make it out of flint, so I'm going to swap it out for flint. So there's my flint. There's my shovel. And I do need more flint for this. I'll get that real quick. And now I should have enough for the axe. And that should be another quest completed. And now I can go ahead and make all of those. So if we go into this, like I said before, we were trying to make ourselves a pickaxe. So we're going to put each piece where they belong. And then out comes your pickaxe. And you can also name it if you wanted. So there's that. There's my hatchet. And there is my shovel. And a really cool feature of this mod, probably one of my favorite things about this mod, is that as you notice, the icons, the images themselves, adapt to what parts you're using. We used wooden rods and flint heads, and that's what they look like. And if you do something else, like say the tool rod was made out of iron, then the handle would look white like iron would. So I do like that. You can very customize the appearance of them as well as other things. For instance, our quest reward just gave us an iron pickaxe head. So I could put this tool in here. I think if you're going to do what I'm about to do, the tool you're using has to be a full durability. There might be a way of changing that for some mod packs. From what I remember, I believe it has to be full durability, but it might not have to. I'm putting my tool in there, and if I put a part that is essentially exchangeable, I can swap it out. So now, instead of having a flint pickaxe, I can get an iron pickaxe without having to recraft one. So essentially, this one pickaxe, I can swap out parts. I can upgrade it like enchanting. You can't enchant them in an enchanting table per se, but there's ways to modify them as if you're enchanting them. And you can have just one pickaxe for the rest of this game. I can just swap out parts instead of making a new one. So this could very well be the only pickaxe I make from now on. Right now I'm only working with things I can work at this station here. Imagine whatever you can make with saws and hammers and chisels and stuff like that. Yeah, I couldn't necessarily make an axe out of iron realistically here. Ideally, the way you would do that is you would melt down iron and kind of pour it into a cast, and that's exactly what Tinker's Construct lets you do. In order to do that, you kind of have to make your own like little forge, and this is called a smeltery, and we'll be working towards that now. This combination of sand, gravel, and clay will get you something called grout. This will be smelted in a furnace, and from this you will be able to get seared stone bricks. These bricks you can kind of think them as just higher durable bricks compared to your regular vanilla bricks. They're just more durable, can take higher heats and whatnot. I got enough for the quest. I'll get my things, and then you can see we're going to be smelting them up to get this. So that's going to take a bit of a while, so I'll get back to you when all of these are smelted up. While I was smelting up all of that brick, I came by to check on my animals, and they seem to be very happy. A lot better than in the pens. I think what was happening was that these troughs, when they're up against a wall, maybe like it glitches out the animals' AI and it don't use them, because like all the time they be hungry or thirsty, but not in here. In here, everyone seems to be doing very well. Like everyone that says well fed. No one has anything to complain about. It looks like. I do have a large amount of animals now, though, so I am gonna have to get rid of some of them. Sadly, I don't have enough room for all of these animals. Oopsies, oopsies! He just ate all of my wheat. But no, yeah, I'm glad that these animals are enjoying themselves over here. I do wish I can get a few more chickens. I think I only have 2 roosters. I haven't found a single hen. I'm gonna have to go on a long journey to get a hen. But yeah, animals are doing good. It appears that while I was tending to the farm and animals, everything has smelted up. Yep, that should be everything. The quest book is telling me to do some weird combination of these items. Okay, so we got this like blue looking redstone. Alright, we have this blue alloy. This is something not very familiar with me right now. Cool, I'll grab another one of them, I guess. This is going to end up making an inductive furnace. Has the same function like a vanilla furnace, but is operated by electrotine power from Project Red. Oh, so it's kind of like a powered one? We need this furnace for a smeltery controller. Oh, okay. See, I haven't even looked at the recipe. I didn't know I was going to have to do stuff. Okay, so I'm going to need this for my smeltery, and I just saw I'm going to need bricks too. So I'm going to go ahead and smelt up some more clay while we're at it. Alright, I've taken a look at the recipes. I now understand why I needed to make the bronze. Oop, oh, short one. With the bronze up here in this orientation, I can make the casting table. This will allow me to cast, using the molten liquids, different parts. And this casting basin will allow me to cast the molten liquid into full blocks. So in case I'm smelting a large amount of items, I can make a full block of it, or I can do individual items using the casting table. And that's another quest, and another step closer to the controller of our smeltery. Our induction furnace is made like this, which unlocks this here. I'll take more of that guy. And all this culminates now into the smeltery. Okay, the smeltery controller has been crafted, but that is just the first step in our journey. I think right here against the mountain, right next to the barn, is a good place for this. So the smeltery is a multi-block construction. And you're kind of gonna make, you can think of it as an open box. So for instance, something like this, right? Where you have not all these sides open, but the top doesn't have to have anything on it. All of these blocks that I have in my hotbar right now can count towards the build. So the bricks obviously going to be the majority of it, but also the smeltery controller, the tank, and the drains as well can also help with the creating the wall. So I'm going to start off with making a 2x2 type thing like this. On this floor, I could have the bricks, but I'm going to swap them out for my controller and my tank. And you see it's already constructed the multi-block because the smeltery controller has lit up. If there's something missing or something isn't right, it's not going to do it. If you see you can count them, there's 4 empty blocks on the inside. That's also how many slots your smeltery is going to have. It takes time for it to melt something down. So the more slots you have, in theory, the quicker, because you can melt more things at once. So you want to increase this as much as possible, but of course we only have a limited amount of blocks to work with. I was able to come up with a design like this. It's a 3x2x2. So I can fit a total of what looks like 12 items in there for right now. As I can gather up more resources in the future, I can continue expanding this until I think there's probably a max size of maybe something around 16x16x16, but that's a crazy amount. Right now, this is good enough for our purposes. These corners, you don't need them to be filled in with brick. They can stay empty. Or you can fill them with anything else, as well as underneath. Like that. You don't need the walls to go all the way down. It's just surrounding the inner area, the inner tank itself you can think of. The last things to add on to our smeltery are the casting table and the basin. You can have both of these placed, so I'm going to put my basin in this corner and the casting here, since I'm going to be using this more often than that, most likely. And you can see this is our seared drain. Honestly, I could get rid of this one and replace it with that. And this one drain could pour here and there if I wished. But I might as well make them their own things. Using this seared faucet, this is how you're going to let everything pour out. So whenever there's liquid in it, you click on the faucet to allow the liquid to pour out onto your cast or your basin. And right now, I have no fuel. So I gotta go fix that. Right now, I'm at the lava pool where I chop down all my trees. As you can see, this is the area where I keep chopping down wood whenever I need it. I've been clearing off more and more area. And I'm going to start collecting a bunch of this lava. I'm just going to fill up this tank as much as I can. The smeltery is going to use lava and other hot liquids, if mod packs allow it, to smelt down our ores. So we can see we have all of the lava that we can put in there. We can fit 4 buckets of any fuel. You can see the temperature is 1,000 degrees Celsius. If you look in JUI, when you go over to your smeltery tab, it'll tell you the degrees it needs. So if perhaps you put something in there and it's not melting, you might need to check that. Maybe the fuel you're using is not hot enough. And now you can put stuff in here and it'll start smelting. And as we can see, the quest book wants us to make brass alloy by smelting a 2-to-1 ratio of copper and silver. So we're going to put in 6 of our copper and 3 of our silver. This little bar next to it is going to go up. Different metals do take different time to smelt. Some things could smelt very quickly, others can go slowly. Also, depending on your mod pack, that's something else that mod pack creators can tweak. They can decide what things go by quicker or slower. As you can see, we got some silver, we got some copper, and in here it's already mixing to make molten brass. Now I'm pretty sure I put in 3 silver and I just got 2. I got 6 silver in return, so I think this is in the form of ore doubling in this mod pack. I'm surprised. I thought they wouldn't give that to me yet. By default, the smeltery does double all of your ores. Any kind of ore you put in here, like raw ore, will become double in the smeltery, and I am surprised that this mod pack let that, because you can change that as well. So we just discovered our first form of ore doubling, which means I'm about to double all the ores I haven't smelted yet. And look, a large amount of molten brass. Within my smeltery, I have some molten brass, and this is what's used to make the cast. So the wooden patterns I have up in the attic are used for softer materials like wood, flint, bones. I think cactus is also acceptable. Other types of rocks like netherrack or maybe even endstone. And for the metals and more tougher things, you need to melt them down in order to use it. So the cast is how we're going to go about that. So for instance, in order to make an ingot cast, I'm going to have to place some sort of ingot. It can be this brick. It can be a regular Minecraft brick, an iron ingot, gold ingot, tin ingot, copper ingot, whatever ingot you want. But be warned, whenever you make a cast, you're going to pour this molten metal over it. The cast is going to break and disappear. But that's how you get the cast. This cast now is reusable. That's why all these parts that I'm making cast for, I've made out of just cobblestone. They're just stone. It's going to burn away. It doesn't matter what you want. You can use the toughest, most durable item. But for most cases, unless your mod pack creators can change that, this is going to disappear. So just make a bunch of wooden or cobblestone parts and make a cast for everything you're going to think you're going to use. I'm going to place a chest down here with all of these in it. I didn't make the pattern chest because it was just way too expensive in my opinion to make another one of those. A vanilla chest should be good for me right now. The book now wants me to make all of these parts with bronze, so that's what I'm working towards. Once you have enough in your smeltery, you're going to put down that cast that you want, and you're going to click on your faucet, fill it up just like we did before for making the cast, but this time we get parts out of it. As you can see, I was able to take out this bronze wide guard out of the cast, and I still got to keep my cast. Last episode, we entered into the Iron Age. It seems like we have quickly entered into the Bronze Age. And with that, we are in the Bronze Age. I now have my bronze tools, a full set of them. And I think I'll take the quest book's advice and go mining for a lot more resources. Now we have the ability to ore double, which means one ore mine can yield us 2 ingots via the smeltery. It's a bit tedious just to sit there and watch it melt down and pour out, so I think I'll go ahead and process it off camera for you guys as well. And hopefully next episode we can dive further with Tinker's Construct, maybe go back, start getting into some machinery. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get this barn finished by unlocking the little tiles mod like I wanted. And if you have any more ideas for what I can add into this world in terms of builds and stuff like that, please let me know down below. But I hope this episode has been a good one. I tried something out today in terms of how I went about recording it. So let me know what you think about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you once again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.